So the website has been turned over, and this is the first step in a series of steps that we hope you will all find good, enjoyable, and progressively better. And
That's
I
not
need
our
to.
website.
I guess I should have staged the website before I turned on the share. Actually, Sean and I were having a discussion about where somebody phoned in from. So, I'm sorry,
Charleston.
Charleston. I think that that might be our friend John Robert Boker. It might be Jolly the secretary. Anyway, so this doesn't look like it's changed much, and that's intentional. This is a reskinning. Actually, we used a lot of different programs. The highlights of the site as it is right now as useful for you, because the registration is not set up. That'll be set up by later tonight. But and I would encourage everybody to go ahead and register, because if you're, especially if you're performing an interaction, part of a committee or whatnot, you will have access to pages behind the scenes. But even verified cryptic masons will have access to pages that aren't going to be generally publicly available. So the key points that we do have is the information that we have had up here for the static information has been transferred, and we can show in other languages. Do we have anybody? Lawrence, are you from Germany?
I think. Yes, I live here, but originally from Sydney.
Okay, well, if you prefer the language to be in German, we have that available. And as you'll notice, it is not just the titles. This is interactive, integrated, and on purpose. Alan, another, we obviously have Portuguese. And if there's a language that is not listed here that you would like to be able to see, then please let us know. And I'm not sure if we have anybody else from somewhere, but we've got the Portuguese and also Espanol, Alan, since you only speak 3 languages that I know and have heard you speak.
No. Targaryen?
I'm sorry?
No Targaryen?
No, but I can get. Do we have a Google translator? Now,
Right next to Klingon.
Yeah, cool. So but one of the biggest advantages that we have available to everybody right now, we hope, is that there is what is now hopefully a comprehensive calendar of events. And for those of you who don't know, we have a monthly meeting with most grand recorders. And we've just started up with the Latin America Subordinate Council. So there will be a subordinate page up here pretty quick. But if you are looking for what's going on, we are updating as those meetings go. And it's, like I said, it's fairly comprehensive. And also involved, we are in the process of updating these again. I think this is going to be a today or tomorrow where all of the attachments that we have access to are going to be available. And these are going to be like PDFs for registration, etc. This is the first site of the front end with a lot of work and a lot of organization and structure behind it, because we've actually set up an entire Google Services, Google Workspace directory. For instance, the grand recorders, the ambassadors, the deans of each of your jurisdictions have a regional based email address in order to communicate with one another. And with the recorders, it's with our office. With the deans and the ambassadors, it's with the regional deputy. So these are all infrastructure-based things that have been put into place, are now being tested, and are coming out. And the website is the final piece where everything is kind of filtered through to give the information. And again, another example, if you go and register, and that should be up in the next 2 days, if you go and register for your account and you're a committee man, then you'll be added to the committeeman's group, which will allow you to see the internal meetings and see if there's something that is expected from you or whatnot. The subordinate councils, if you're in an area where we have subordinate councils, if you're a member of them, we'll put you in the group, and then that calendar will be made available to you. There are many things coming down the line, and I will give you a forecast. We are heavily relying on, if you know what the word means, you'll be happy for us, because it's going to lower our workload quite a bit. But we are implementing workflow processes with all of our ordering and all of our automated services. So when a Zoom conference call goes out for maybe, I don't know, the fireside chat, then we are going to be able to broadcast those messages automatically to defined groups of users and have people add themselves at the same, well, not at the same time, but during their registration or augmenting their registration. General Grand Master, is there anything else that you wanted me to specifically cover?
No. And for you, that was pretty brief.
Well, I was going to ask if there are questions or comments.
Yeah. Are there any questions or comments? Okay.
Steve, this is John Gallant, from New York.
Yes, sir.
And I haven't been there recently, but are we still able to look and find grand recorder addresses of the various jurisdictions, or is that kind of behind the wall?
That is behind the wall, but once the registration system is up, most illustrious Grand Master, we will make those things available to the officers. As a member of the General Grand Council and as a voting delegate, that will be available. It's been shared via email, and we're getting rid of that. So those are going to be available. The contact points are going to be available. And one of the differences might be found in a contact form where it is a broadcast email that would be monitored. So the wherefores and whatnots are actually being ironed out, and the policies are being drafted for review by the executive committee, more especially the trustees, for approval.
Okay. Any other questions for Steve? Okay.
Thank you, John.
Do you have something else, Steve?
Oh, I was just saying thank you.
Okay. No problem. Does anybody have any specific questions for me or the General Grand Council in general?
Yeah, most recent, I have one, and it's mostly because I don't fully understand the structure yet of Cryptic Masons International. What is and you don't have to answer this in this session, but maybe at some point in the future, maybe other companions have the same question. What is the coverage of this organization, Cryptic Masons International? Where does it extend? I mean, that might be useful just looking through the website to show what the jurisdictional coverage is and where the ambassadors are and those sorts of things, just to get a better concept of what the coverage of the organization is.
Well, we're waiting for an invitation from Australia, if you're asking.
I'll get onto that.
There you go. Yeah, we're obviously in the United States, although the General Grand Council is, for lack of a better term, like a co-op. Grand jurisdictions choose to be members of General Grand, and we are the constituting authority for cryptic masonry, the American cryptic rite, throughout the world. So regular grand councils don't have the authority to create other councils or other grand councils outside of their jurisdiction. That's the purview of the international group. But we exist in Europe. I think as far east in Europe as I think Romania is about the furthest we go. We're in Africa, in Togo, Gabon, Madagascar, although they've been out of touch for a while. In Asia, we are in the Philippines, Japan, and Taiwan. And I've heard we've got some stuff going on in Hawaii now and then. So, and Nikolai's still got it under control there, don't you, Nikolai? Let's see, any place, oh, and Central and South America, Mexico, Central South America. There are some councils up in Canada that used to be members of General Grand, but are no longer. There are a few states, jurisdictions that are not members of General Grand. And basically our primary function is to provide services and value, I guess, for lack of a better term right now, to those jurisdictions that that choose to be members of our organization.
Yes, I wonder if that's something for the future, and I don't want to create more work for those who manage the website, but having some kind of graphic to show that coverage might be useful, just to see where it stretches. Just for the background, I think you know this, but for example, the way Australian Cryptic and Royal Arch Masons are organised, we are one body, so it comes under the Royal Arch. The Cryptic Mason degrees are actually managed and delivered by the Royal Arch chapters, so there's not a separate organisation. I think that would complicate the way that would interact with Cryptic Masons International, as an example. That might be one of the reasons, notwithstanding people trying to maintain their own territory, but that would, I think, complicate that organization.
We actually in the U.S., Virginia and I believe West Virginia, actually both have the Cryptic degrees as part of the Royal Arch. They don't have two separate organizations, just FYI. You know, there's full recognition across the board, so you know, that's usually not a problem. We have in the past, we were working on an actual globe type of interface that you could poke around and see where we were and get information on councils and that sort of stuff. That kind of fell by the wayside because of staffing issues. But yes, I agree with you. We should have a listing of where we're at, and there's a few things that I'm sure that we will work on over time that needs to happen on the website. We wanted to get the basic and most important functionality out there as quickly as possible, but and that hasn't been all that quick, but we're getting there. So, but thank you, bro. Miss you, by the way. Anybody else?
General Grandmaster Lawrence has his companion. Lawrence has his hand up.
Hi, Lawrence.
Grandmaster, in America, you have your own constitution. And then you have different countries that submit a constitution. It has to be approved. And then it becomes the constitution of that country that you've allocated the permission that they can work. How is it with a council that is a subordinate? Is it the American Constitution if they're a subordinate council, or is it the Constitution that you have granted to the country?
They work under our Constitution and our rules as a subordinate, but they develop their own bylaws.
but I think the initial stage of getting a chapter, not a chapter, to get a charter, you have to submit a constitution.
Not as a subordinate council. You submit your bylaws as a subordinate council, and
Yes,
your membership.
But the grand chapter, or the grand council of the country.
Right. Grand Council submits a constitution to us for approval.
And is that applicable then to subordinate councils?
Subordinate councils that are not under a grand council, we become like take where is it, someplace say
Take
China.
Germany for an example. Take Germany for an example.
I don't want to go down the Germany route, but we'll choose China. If a group of cryptic masons in China decide they want to form a council, they apply to us. We review it. We work through them. They get their paperwork together, set up their membership, all that sort of stuff. They become a constituent council of the General Grand. Okay, so therefore their constitution is our constitution. When they get two other councils, they can apply to form a grand council. At that point, they have to create their own constitution, get everything formulated together, submit that constitution to us so that we can make sure that it's in proper form. And when we first put them under dispensation, and then later we go through and constitute them. And when they are constituted, they are no longer subordinate councils under us. They become subordinate councils of that grand council, subject to their constitution. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yep.
Partly.
Steve?
Yeah,
Steve?
the Northeast Steve. I would like to, we've asked, and I'm just reminding Steve in his, the Southwest Steve, in his meetings with the recorders, the grand recorders, to please formulate a list of those that either are or are no longer doing the grand representative route.
I will do that. And General Grand Master, can I add a personal comment?
Sure.
Okay, this comment is directed at David Schuler. You are the bomb. That is awesome. Thank you so much. I haven't had a chance to say it. Thank you.
There's like a
You're welcome.
romance going on here. What's going on?
Do you want to share what you received?
I received a care package that didn't just have maple syrup. It didn't just have maple pancake mix. It didn't just have a maple butter. It had all of them. And Michelle and I have enjoyed it immensely. And so have the kids a little bit.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for all the work you do.
Steve Rubenstein, I can tell you the Philippines still does the representative program because their grand sessions, the first couple of hours is reporting out of their representatives. So, but yeah, Steve, definitely take a note to check on that, because it is a system. I know a lot of Grand Lodges have stopped doing it because it's just so hard to maintain, and there typically was confusion on who's was supposed to do what and that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, okay,
General Grand Master, the email's going out in about 2 minutes.
okay. Anybody else have any questions, comments? I thank everybody for being here. I've been personally challenged the last couple of weeks, trying to keep keep my cool, and I've lost it a few times. So there's definitely some application from Oscar's talk tonight that I can apply to myself. It's always good, and God has a way of sending us reminders when we need them, I think. So I appreciate that. As always, you know, I welcome any kind of feedback, any comments. If you're not comfortable sharing them here, feel free to reach out to me on email, on chat, any method that you have. I'm happy to hear from everybody. And it's always good to see you guys. I do hope that you're all in good health and that your families are safe and healthy. Please stay warm, stay safe, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the month and a better February. We'll see those of you that go to Masonic Week. We'll see you there. I will not make the Conference of Grand Masters this year. And where else am I going, Steve? I forgot something. Oh, I'm going to Panama 1st February for their grand sessions. So get out of the cold for a change. So be nice. We actually had snow here in Georgia, so in Atlanta, and that's not a usual thing. First time that we've had it since I've lived here. So
I'll trade you.
my wife loved it. She actually had enough to go out and make a snowball, so she was happy.